Hello, everyone. My name is Miriam. Welcome to the live webinar session. Today, we're going to be having the webinar Understanding Hyperpigmentation, also known as skin discoloration. I'm sorry. Okay, so my name is Miriam, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the webinar. Before we start fully, I'll just like to do a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. So, first off, if you have any questions as the webinar is going on, would like you to please type them in the chat section in your Zoom app, or you could raise your hand by tapping the hand icon in your Zoom control panel. Also, if you'd actually prepare to ask your question via audio, like you'd like to speak, then you just raise your hand as well, and then I'll unmute your mic so you can ask your question. And then questions will be asked after the presentation. So there'll be, enough time for you to ask all your questions. Before I introduce our host and dig into today's topic, I'd like to introduce Diagnoster a little bit. So Diagnoster Health is an integrated technology brand that provides individuals and organizations in Africa access to a global network of certified healthcare providers in the US, Nigeria, UK, UAE, and Ghana. We also provide management tools to hospitals, healthcare systems, and organizations to help streamline their services as well as increase their revenue. So basically, in a nutshell, what this means is that you can connect to a domestic or foreign provider, being a medical doctor, physician, or a specialist. You can order prescription drugs. You can schedule a lab appointment from the comfort of your home on your dashboard, and you can also access your electronic medical records. You have access to that 24/7 from the comfort of your home. It doesn't matter where you are, if you're in your office or if you're in your living room, as long as you need a medical provider or a physician or a specialist, you can just log into your dashboard and book an appointment with a specialist and you're good to go. So how do you access all of these benefits? Basically, all you need to do is sign up for a care plan of your choice. We have, a very number of them for your pocket size, depending basically on what you want really. And then you can do that by visiting our website on www.diagnoster.com. And then, well, let me stop there for now. I'll basically tell you more about Diagnoster at the end of the webinar. But for now, let's get to why we're here. We've collaborated with Onye Eruchalu to educate you about hyperpigmentation, also known as skin discoloration. Onye is a licensed esthetician based in Houston, Texas. Her passion is to help people, especially women of color, achieve healthy, radiant skin from within. And that's her drive for founding Miri Effect Skincare. So her mission is to treat skin of color and encourage women of color to invest in caring for their skin. And you can also learn more about Miri Effect Skincare on the website on www.mirieffectskin.com. Let me hand over at this point to Onye so that she can, help us achieve great skin, clearer skin without any hyperpigmentation. Over to you, Onye. I think you need to unmute your mic.
Here we go. Let me start again. Good day, everybody. Thank you all for joining this session today. I really appreciate you making the time. I know that a lot of us are just, moments away from enjoying the weekend. So I will keep this short and sweet, and then you guys can have a bit of time to ask any questions that you may have. So as Miriam mentioned, we're going to be discussing understanding hyperpigmentation. This is a skin condition that really is one of the primary skin conditions that Black people face, whether men or women. And so I know that in Miriam's introduction, she mentioned that my passion is treating skin of color, both men and women. And so let's just get right into it. So what is hyperpigmentation? Just a little bit of education for you guys, for those that are not aware. Your skin contains 3 layers. the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis, which is where the subcutaneous fat exists. And hyperpigmentation can affect either the dermis or the epidermis layer of your skin. And what basically happens is that there's a darker patch of skin that's surrounded by the normal color of your skin, and that's where there's more melanin. And this can really occur usually when, like from an acne scarring, hormonal fluctuations, or et cetera. But you will always notice it, which is evident by like the darker pigmentation, as you can see in this picture. And as I mentioned, it's one of the top 5 skin conditions that's diagnosed in Black people. And I use Black people as all encompassing, whether you're African, Caribbean, American, whatever the case may be. And so what causes hyperpigmentation, as I mentioned, it could be acne scars, sun damage, and hormonal fluctuation. So if I did a show of hand, I'm sure most of you can tell me that when you get a pimple, you find yourself doing this, picking it, squeezing it, popping it. And that is something that I tell my clients to avoid by any means necessary. The last thing you want to do is to aggravate an acne, that's formed on your face, or just to use the wrong products. Another factor is sun damage. Most of us do not understand the importance of wearing sun protection and to avoid being outside when the sun's rays are the most aggressive. And for women, we often face hormonal changes. No matter, once you're a menstruating woman, premenopausal, even right before menopausal, we have various fluctuations in our hormones. Whether you're pregnant, just had a baby, trying to get pregnant, your period, a monthly cycle, et cetera, can all exacerbate our hormonal changes in our bodies. So this picture that I have up here is actually me. And this was my skin early this year, because I was going through just a myriad of things, weather changes, hormonal changes, stress induced. And so you can see that I was struggling from my own bout of hyperpigmentation, acne scarring. And this is just to be very transparent and show you that I don't care who it is that's in the skincare industry, whether it's an esthetician or dermatologist, we all have our issues with skin. So I don't want you guys to get caught up in the filters and thinking that everybody has perfect skin. It does not exist. We work very hard to achieve this skin. And as you can see today, I was very conscious of just wearing lipstick today so that you can see that if you take the time and use the right products and be patient, your skin will improve. So this is me today versus this picture that you see a few months ago. And so, just to go back to the presentation, but an official diagnosis can be gotten by a dermatologist. So I encourage everybody, while I'm an esthetician, I am not licensed to diagnose skin conditions. That's not within my scope of practice. My scope of practice is treating your skin through various skincare treatments, facials, chemical peels, et cetera. And so if you don't have access to a dermatologist, I can definitely help to refer you. I'm sure Diagnostar, they have a database full of local dermatologists that they can help you with. But the key is to understand that when it comes to hyperpigmentation, it's much easier to treat it when it's on the epidermis layer of the skin, the outermost layer of your skin. It's a bit harder to treat it when it's on the dermis layer. And then sometimes, in some cases, once it's at that layer, the dermis layer, it can be permanent. So there might not be a cure for it. I know some people don't like to hear that. And so that's why it's important to go to a dermatologist and get diagnosed properly. And then you can actually work with an esthetician once you've received your diagnosis to continue treating your skin in the proper manner. So just be mindful of that, and be careful on who you go to and where you go to get your treatment and your diagnosis. As I mentioned earlier, this is the one area where people do not pay attention to or don't do anything about it. If you live in a tropical climate like Nigeria or just on the continent, sub-Saharan continent of Africa, if you live in Houston, Texas, like I do, Houston is very similar to Lagos as far as weather goes. It is warm. It is very, very warm. Even as I'm speaking to you, it's October and it is hot outside. And so I tell everybody, I don't care what you do. If you don't put anything else on your skin after you wash it every day, use sunscreen. And so for me personally, I recommend using a broad spectrum sunscreen that basically covers both UVA and UVB rays, and with an SPF, which is a sun protection factor of at least 30 or higher. I personally like this brand. This is what I use. It's called Elta MD, and you can get it online, but it goes on sheer, which is very important because, again, as people of color, you don't want to walk around as if somebody painted your skin white. So, because I know that sometimes sunscreen always leaves sometimes a white cast or a white something on your face. And that's why I like this particular brand, because I have sunscreen on right now as I'm speaking to you, and it's clear. And so when you're outside, if you have to be outside in the sun, two things I always recommend: try to avoid being outside during, like I said earlier, the very peak hours of sunlight, which is usually 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. If you have to be outside during those hours, make sure you have your sunscreen on, not just on your face, on your whole body. That's number one. Number two, reapply it every 2 hours if you're still having to be outside. And then while you're outside, make sure you're wearing sunglasses and a very wide brim hat, or just something to protect your face, even if it means carrying an umbrella. Sometimes you see people and they walk outside, you're like, why are you carrying an umbrella? It's not raining. Do what you have to do to protect your skin. But sunscreen is a must every single day as part of your daily skincare regimen. Don't let anybody tell you that, oh, you have melanin, you don't need to protect yourself from the sun. That the reason you need to protect yourself is because we do have melanin, and overproduction of melanin is what causes hyperpigmentation. So be very mindful of that. So as far as treating hyperpigmentation, there's various ways. When we talk about topical treatments, it's good to understand what AHAs are and BHAs, alpha hydroxy acids and beta hydroxy acids. Basically, either one of these acid categories are really essential to treating your skin. Alpha hydroxys are great exfoliants. I don't know how many of you exfoliate your skin, but that is an essential part of skin renewal. It's an essential part of treating hyperpigmentation. I personally exfoliate using a combination of alpha hydroxy acids, beta hydroxy acids, and also tyrosine inhibitors, which are basically, I'll get to that in the next slide, but basically they're really strong exfoliants that help to, over time, brighten your skin and minimize those dark spots. So if you saw the picture earlier from my skin, you saw the dark spots on my face. And so over time, by using, my serums, it fades. And also, a big part of it is not just what you're using on your skin, but also lifestyle changes, and the way you eat. What do you eat? What do you drink? What are you not eating? What are you not drinking? All of that plays into a factor of treating your skin and your body holistically. But I always recommend exfoliating your skin at least 2 to 3 times a week. And this is usually done after you've cleansed your skin. You cleanse your skin, you exfoliate, and then you put on the rest of your skincare treatments. That's the order that I typically recommend to do it. And so I always tell you, see the hashtag, know your ingredients. It's what I tell all my clients. It's not just about, buying the hottest, skincare products. There's millions of skincare products on the market. But the one thing that I tell all my clients is when you get a product, read the label, the back of the label. Don't just buy it because your friend is using it. Don't just buy it because some celebrity is marketing it. Don't just buy it because of, just word of mouth. Educate yourself, be an educated consumer, and understand what you're putting on your body that eventually goes into your body. And so you heard me mention earlier about topical treatments known as tyrosinase inhibitors. What that basically is tyrosinase is an enzyme that produces melanin. So for those of us that have this beautiful caramel chocolate skin, that is what we have. That is what we have more of versus our white counterparts. And so there are several acids that are known to help block the overproduction of melanin. One of them is kojic acid. And what kojic acid does, it blocks that. It blocks that overproduction of melanin, which can lead to hyperpigmentation. And it's much more effective and less aggressive than hydroquinone. I know most of us know what hydroquinone is, AKA bleaching cream. So for those of you that have tried bleaching creams, that love bleaching creams, I'm going to implore you to please stop using them. There's so much negative long-term side effects that that people don't want to be aware of. They should be, but they don't want to be aware of, that causes more harm than good. Sometimes you notice, you see somebody who's been bleaching over years, and you start seeing that their skin looks very like papery, filmy. They have all these scars. That's what hydroquinone does to you. But when you use kojic acid, when you use azelaic, when you use licorice extract, ferulic acid, these are much more gentler, exfoliants and enzymes and acids for your skin to really help treat hyperpigmentation. I personally, in my skincare line, I have them. My hyaluronic serum contains vitamin C, and this pigment defense serum, which has now been rebranded as illuminating serum in the next few weeks. Those are the two that I personally use myself, and I don't market anything that I don't use. So I always tell people, again, know your ingredients, read the labels of your products, be patient. Your skin didn't get to where it is overnight. So therefore treating it will not be an overnight success either, but it's consistency that matters. So in summary, the most important, like I said before, is when you get acne, if your hyperpigmentation is due from acne, do not pick at your skin, number one. And that's if it's due from acne. If it's not, then you need to go see a licensed dermatologist, preferably board certified. And then also, speak with a licensed esthetician. Again, they need to be licensed and have experience. Someone who's at least been in practice, whether it's a dermatologist or an esthetician, in practice at least 5 years or more. So that way, that you're talking to a professional and someone who also knows skin of color. That's very important. Include, like I said, sunscreen in your routine. I can't stress that enough. That if people don't understand the importance and how it can help to prevent, because what happens is when you're already suffering from hyperpigmentation and you're out in the sun without any protection on your skin, you're making it worse. And if you ever notice, sometimes you'll come back in and you'll see that dark spot became darker because you weren't protecting yourself. So those are some of the tips that I have to share with you today. If you're interested in scheduling a virtual consultation, you can scan this QR code, but I'm going to open it up now for questions. Ask away.
Thank you so much, Oyin, for that, wonderful, wonderful presentation. I like the part where, you actually stated that we actually should know our ingredients. Before now, I didn't know all of that, but now that I know, I'm going to make sure I read the label of, any skin product or any skincare product I'm going to purchase in the future. So right now, we'll have to go ahead with, questions. So if you have any questions, please feel free to share in the chat box or raise your hand and I'll unmute your mic so that you can ask your questions. Do we have any questions in the house? Now is your chance. After now, you may have to pay. Just giving you a hint. Any questions? None? None? Okay. Since we do not have any questions, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you, Uni, for this presentation. I did promise that I was going to tell you guys a little bit more about Diagnosta, after the webinar. We share, very interesting and insightful tips on our social media platforms that allow you to, live a healthy, full, and beautiful, wonderful life. So would actually encourage you to follow us on our social media channels. Follow us on Instagram, On Instagram, we are at Diagnosta Healthcare. On Facebook and on LinkedIn, we are Diagnosta Health. Okay, I see we have a question in the chat box. I'm just going to read that out quickly. Okay, so Najo is asking, are there any ingredients to look out for? Oni?
So when you say look out for, you mean to use or not to use?
Okay, she states that the ingredients that are bad for your skin.
Bad for your skin. As I mentioned earlier, I think that number one, hydroquinone. For me personally, I don't encourage the use of it. And so that's a primary ingredient. Other ingredients for me would be I would really be careful about using products that have a lot of artificial, like parabens, phthalates, things of that nature. I personally do not encourage using products that have those ingredients. My products don't have those ingredients because, again, they can cause further damage to your skin, and they're synthetic, right? So watch out for hydroquinone, watch out for parabens, sulfates, phthalates, etc. I hope that answers the question.
Someone else is asking, what's your advice in cases where one uses a product, but when he or she misses a day, the acne comes back heavily?
What is the advice when someone uses a product, but the acne comes back heavily? Give me an example of a product. Are you talking about exfoliant? Are you talking about a serum? Are you, give me an example.
Okay. We'll be waiting for that example. Meanwhile, we have another question. Say, are there any side effects of not using anything on the skin? That's a good question.
No, I mean, if you're not using anything, then I mean, I guess I should ask for clarity. Are you asking for side effects as far as if you have acne or if you have hyperpigmentation? But in general, I mean, if you're not putting anything on your skin, there is nothing to react to. If you're simply just putting water on your face, then obviously there's nothing to react to. But no matter what it is, everybody's sensitivity level is different. Even ordinary Vaseline, some people can react to it. So it depends on what you're putting. But if you're saying you're putting nothing on your skin besides water, then no, you will not have a reaction. But if you do, everybody's sensitivity level is different. So, what you may react to, I may not react to.
All right, thank you. So for the person who asked about the products, for advice on the product, not using the product for a day and then the acne comes back heavily, she stated moisturizer as an example.
Okay, so she started using some moisturizer, and then she's saying that the acne came back.
Yeah, I think basically what she means is she was using the product and the skin was getting clearer and everything, but then she misses it for a day and then the acne comes back.
Oh, she stopped using it and then the acne came back. Well, exactly. For one thing, moisturizer really wouldn't cause your acne to come back. That's number one. Now, it's, the intent of moisturizer, literally that, to moisturize your skin. If acne comes back, it's because either, something in your body is going on. That's why I always encourage my clients to, get a full body scan, understand what's happening, get your blood work checked, because sometimes it's deeper than what you think. That's why, if you heard earlier, I mentioned about your diet, your lifestyle habits. So moisturizer won't stop, discontinuing use of moisturizer will not cause acne to come back. Now, discontinuing of other type of products, like, like a serum or that's meant to control acne, if it's like a more exfoliant that has like salicylic acid, it could, right? And it depends on how long you stopped using it. If you don't use it for a day or two, that's not going to cause your acne to come back at all. So it's more of a long-term effect. But like I said, it's not moisturizer. Maybe it's something else that you're using that you stopped using. But the bigger issue is what's going on inside of your body.
Thank you so much. There's one more question from Susan, and she says, blackheads are the same. Okay, so are blackheads the same classification as acne?
Yeah, so blackheads are literally buildup in your pores, and they can cause acne. So you'll notice sometimes if you look at your pores, if you're staring yourself in the mirror and you notice like just a little dark spot on your face, that's a blackhead. Now, I do not recommend trying to remove that blackhead on your own if you are not a professional, either an esthetician or dermatologist. Don't do it. Do not do it. You will cause more harm than good to your skin. The best thing to do is literally to, like I said, go to an esthetician, go to a dermatologist and have them remove it for you. But that's also the beauty of exfoliating. If you exfoliate your skin consistently and regularly, weekly, you will notice the minimizing of those blackheads and whiteheads. I hope that answers the question. I think I saw Ademola raising his hand but a few minutes ago.
Yeah, he has dropped it. He already asked this question in the chat box. So I think that helps. Becky, so if there are no other questions, I think this is where we wrap it up. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you, Oni, so much for being a great host. We've learned so much from you. You can follow Miri Effect on Instagram. They're also on Instagram. I think at Miri Effect Skincare. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. That's correct. All right. Please do not forget to follow us on Instagram as well. We look forward to having you guys on our platforms, engaging with our content, and also learning from everything that we have to share. Do not forget to sign up to a care plan on diagnosta.com. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely evening and a great weekend.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.